The angel's message to you today is brought to you by the angel of victory, and it says, overcome your weaknesses. My beloved, I know that there are some aspects of your life in which you are experiencing certain difficulties. You feel that you have some limitations, shortcomings, or even feel unable to control some aspects of your life. Today, I come to you. I share with you this message, and I share with you my light to help you overcome your weaknesses. In this special message that comes with light directly to your being, you must pay attention and open both your mind and your heart to absorb and find the real essence that dwells in you and achieve changes in your life. That is why, staying until the end, you will discover why this message was really for you and how much you needed it. Also, take advantage of the final advice to take your first big step. I am here today to help you face all those things you feel insecure about. You have to stop treating yourself in such a demanding way and understand that weaknesses are also part of your human condition. They are part of learning. After all human beings encounter some aspects of life or of their own personality in which they have certain difficulties. But nothing happens by chance. Everything happens for a reason and for a purpose. You have to understand that having weaknesses does not mean having less value. Your weaknesses and your strengths make you who you are, and you must love and respect them as they are. Today, I take your hand and enlighten your mind, your thinking. I help you to see things differently. And even your weaknesses you can take advantage of. Even if you think it is impossible, the truth is that you can also get something good out of your weakness. Because ultimately any obstacle is an opportunity to grow. The path to overcoming weaknesses begins with recognizing and identifying those weaknesses. If you do not recognize them and do not name them, you will not know what you are facing. To overcome your weaknesses, you must be honest with yourself. You must make a work of inner reflection to realize what your weaknesses are at this moment. That is to say, you have to investigate within yourself what are the aspects of your life or your personality that are preventing you from moving forward as you wish. There are many things going on around you that you cannot control. But if you pay a little attention, you will realize that your weaknesses also have an effect on your life. And that effect is not exactly positive, but quite the opposite. When you do this reflection, you will probably realize that throughout your life you have had many different weaknesses. For example, there have been times when you always procrastinated. That you didn't take care of things as soon as possible, but always waited for a later moment, and that played a bad trick on you. That is also a weakness and is an aspect you need to work on. You may also realize that one of your biggest weaknesses has been a lack of confidence in yourself. That has been a real challenge because it has seriously affected you when it comes to making decisions, when it comes to choosing what kind of people you surround yourself with. Lack of confidence is a weakness that has a very negative effect on your life. Other weaknesses you have faced at some point have been impatience. Impatience causes you to act impulsively and leads you to miss many of the opportunities that come your way. And impatience is also related to lack of organization. When you are well organized, you realize that everything takes time. I know it's hard to admit it, but you have to realize that at some point in your life you have had some of these weaknesses. And overcoming them will help you find the best version of you. There are weaknesses that may go a little more unnoticed, such as keeping your emotions, needs and desires to yourself. Even if you think that this is something of your personality, you have to realize that this only prevents you from achieving your goals. You must start to be who you really are, to show all your light, your emotions, your words. Your needs are also important, they also count. Another weakness you may have is the fear of change. Now and before we continue, I invite you to subscribe and share our channel. Your support helps us to create more valuable content for you. Thank you always. Fear of change can prevent you from taking advantage of many opportunities. It can affect the way you live your life. Perhaps one of the biggest weaknesses you have right now is the ability to say no to other people, and the ability to set limits when they want to take more from you than you want to give. It is important that you recognize that this is happening, because only then will you be able to overcome it. You have to change your perspective to realize that all of that is actually an opportunity to learn. An opportunity to grow. As you recognize your weaknesses, you will begin to take control of them. Weaknesses actually come from your ego. Therefore, to overcome your weaknesses, you have to overcome your ego. And that is what I am coming to do for you. I come to enlighten and bless you to overcome your ego. But to overcome it, first you have to know it. You have to know what its purpose is and where it wants to lead you, because to defeat the ego you have to go inside yourself, and from there deal with it. Human society has been dominated by the ego for years. Thus, souls find themselves more and more disconnected from their being in the spiritual plane, but this is something you can avoid. Human society has developed behaviors that lead human beings to confront each other and to compete instead of collaborating and loving each other. Thus, many souls became more and more selfish and disconnected from the divine. They focused only on the superficial, on the physical world, and are unwilling to see beyond it. You have to understand that this is a choice of the human being. All human beings are free to decide what they want to do. They have free will, and therefore the connection or disconnection with the ego is also a matter of attitude. No matter how loving the people you surrounded yourself with were, sometimes you have surrounded yourself with souls completely dominated by the ego, and that made you think that this was the only way to achieve success and to elevate yourself. My beloved, you can see your ego from many points of view. The truth is that the ego is part of you, and you will have to learn to handle it and manage it properly. When you do not take care of your ego, it takes care of you, directing your thoughts, behaviors, and words. To defeat your ego, first you have to know it. You have to know what its purpose is and where it wants to direct you. Because to defeat the ego you have to go inside yourself, and from there deal with it. Human society has been dominated by the ego for years. Thus, souls find themselves more and more disconnected from their being in the spiritual plane, but this is something you can avoid. Beneath the layers of your ego lies your essence, your spiritual and divine nature. The best thing you can do for your existence, both physical and spiritual, is to understand that your ego is there and that you can keep it at bay, that you must not allow it to take control of your life. Understand that the ego feeds on fear, barriers, pain and suffering. The ego is the one that produces the negative thoughts and limiting beliefs that paralyze you. The ego produces all those things that lead you to a position of victimhood so that you are not responsible for reality, so that you do not change anything because the ego is afraid of change. Understand that to overcome the ego, you simply have to pay attention to your spiritual essence, to your divine nature. To overcome the ego, you just have to connect with your truth, with reality, with the whole. Your divinity keeps you in connection with the whole and is within you. Every moment is good and valid to connect with it. Now I ask you, are you willing to tune your mind to the melody of success and allow prosperity to flow to you? Today, I have left in the description a powerful tool that will help you and bring you closer to your happiness, peace, and tranquility. I invite you to get to know it. Be proactive and open the doors to a future where success and prosperity are your daily reality. Do not underestimate the power of now. The opportunity you have today to change your life will never present itself in the same way again. Act today, go for the description and create the tomorrow you deserve. Blessings forever.